So, welcome all. I'm going to dive right into it. This is my testimony on how the Lord delivered me from my porn addiction. Yes, my porn addiction. It's very, very real. I don't care if anyone looks at me differently. Might catch some people off guard, but it's the truth. I know there's a lot of people that struggle with porn addiction. It's very real and it's very, very serious, but I am just delivering this testimony because it needs to get shared. And it's something that I've been putting off for a while because I just didn't want to talk about it. But I know that people are dealing with this issue at hand. And if you're trying to turn your life around in Christ, you have to, that's one of the things that the Lord talks about in the Bible that He will not go for and will not tolerate. So I'm going to read you it. I did another one, but it was super low and nobody could hear my voice. Nobody could hear what I was talking about. So I'm redoing it over again. What gave me the courage to do it? I guess I said confirmation to do my testimony. This is something that's big for me because this is something that I've never shared with anyone because of, I don't know, trying to be accepted or trying to be liked, I guess, or just feeling ashamed of myself. But the Lord delivered me from it, and so He can only judge me. That's it. Just potentially helping other people who are struggling with it as well. It's very real. I don't care what people say, if they openly talk about it or not, whatever. But okay, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, so when I was younger, I didn't, first of all, I didn't know what sex was, let alone how to do it. I didn't know where the parts went. So there's that. But yeah, I didn't know what it was. Let's just start there. So growing up, sex was around to me. It was. I don't care what anyone says. This is my truth. I think I'm not gonna say it started, but that's when sex was in front of my face when I was younger, there were family members who had sex in front of me when I was younger. And then I think I was probably, I was young, probably like 5 or 6 years old. And then when I got older, probably around like 10 or 11, my parents were not together. And I'm like, well, did I catch any of them? Kind of, in a way. I think I caught them doing, not together, but like, yeah. So, sorry if I laugh from time to time. I'm still trying to do this in a way where it's not coming off as me, rushing it or not treating it as important. I think around 10, 11 is when, like, was it like 9 or 10? 9 or 10. My family, I used to catch them doing it, having sex, and hearing them, because I was always like a light sleeper out of all my siblings. I was always a light sleeper. So the slightest noise would just like wake me up, and I always had like trouble going to sleep. Like that was just always me. Like I always had trouble going to sleep, always. When did it start for me? It started around, keep in mind, didn't know what it was, right? Because I'm still a child, didn't know what it was. Did I know it was bad? Yes and no. I didn't even get the birds and the bees talk. I think the first actual sex conversation I probably had was when I was in 6th grade, before I went, or was it 8th grade? 8th grade. Was it 8th grade? I think it was in middle school before I went to high school. That was the only conversation I had about sex. No one actually really sat me down to talk to me about like the birds and the bees and private parts and where they go, what they do, how you do it, how long, and so forth. What started for me, I guess, catching people doing it and then having people doing it in front of me. I guess that kind of raised my curiosity a lot. How did I go about looking it up? Well, there were ways. There were a lot of ways. I almost got caught one time. I want to say I was around I don't know, it was I wasn't 13, I was probably 11, 12 years old. And I almost got caught one time because I almost got caught one time watching it, actually. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I almost did. Fast forward, where did it increase, intensify? When I lost my virginity to the wrong person. Wasn't good. But before I lost my virginity and before that intensified, when going back to when I was younger, I'm trying to figure out what old was I when I almost had my first death encounter. I remember laying in my aunt's room one night. It was very hot outside, and she had a fan in her window, and I don't think she was in there. Or I might have been on the floor. I don't remember. Once again, I don't know. These age gaps are 6 to 12 or 10. Once again, nobody knows. Right? Nobody knows because no one expected to be me. Because I was always a quiet one out of the group, out of the bunch. I didn't say much. If you saw me in a family function, I would probably be on my phone. I wouldn't really be necessarily talking with people and common conversations with them. I'd always be on my phone. If I'm not on my phone, I'm usually singing unless they want me to sing, but I'm getting off topic. The gist of it is that night, I almost lost my life to it because that was something that started to form right in the midst of me knowing that it was not good to do. And I remember I couldn't breathe. It's like every breath I took, my breath got shorter and shorter and shorter, and I didn't know why. And I was just not really knowing why. So I was really scared. So I went in my other aunt's room and she wasn't there. I remember praying. I don't know how the prayer went. I was oh Lord, I won't do it again. I won't watch that stuff. I won't. I started to breathe, right? But that was a lot of convincing because, excuse me, the Lord doesn't play those games when it comes to that. It talks about that a lot in the Bible. It's actually one of the things he actually hates, despises of, which is one of the abominable things. So yeah, it was very scary in that moment because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know was this gonna be it for me? Like, was I gonna die? Like, like what is going on? Like, in my head I'm thinking like I'm too young. Like, like once again, no one had the sex talk with me, so it was just like I kind of basically found everything out on my own, I guess you could say, kind of. Um, the second time I had a near-death experience was when I I don't remember the second time, but I know it was the second time. And I go this to say, in the midst of my story, is that it was scary. That's something that's very hard to get, like, to shake, because when you keep doing it and running to it to fill whatever void in your life that you're running away from, it could be lack of relationships, friendships, feeling the need to be in the crowd, feeling the need to be, heard or popular or, noticed, whatever. That kind of turned into a crutch for me, because, like I said, I'm a shy person, so like I don't really, at that time, I didn't really talk to people, and people didn't really talk to me, because I was so awkward or very quiet, so I didn't really feel the need to really care that much. It got worse when I lost my virginity. I was like 18 years old. Dumb, stupid way how I lost it. Not gonna get into that. But I go all this just to say that I'm 24. So I've been dealing with this addiction since it started around like 10 or 9, but it got introduced to me around 5 or 6. And those were a lot of years that no one knew. And even if they did, they didn't come up and talk to me about it, because at that time I was grown-ish. So it is hard. It is an addiction. Was I proud of doing it when I was doing it? No. Did I want help? Yes. One day, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm trying to put the pieces together. I remember, okay, so yes, I lost my virginity at 18, and then what else happened? It got worse for me. That's why the soul ties. Sex was invented by God, yes, for a man and a woman, man and wife, but outside of marriage, it's wrong, okay? So soul ties are real. So when I lost my virginity, it got worse because you never know who you're dealing with and what kind of demons they have going on, or, it just got worse for me. Like, I was watching it a lot, and I was like 18 at the time, 18, 19. It got worse. Like, I just, watching it, I would just wait till I was like by myself or alone. But it was bad. It was a lot. Got a lot of, like, I really did struggle. I know people that would just stop. And then it's like when you watch TV, you watch certain movies, it's like it's in the movies, it's in the TV shows. Like, it's, even me being grown now, like, I've minimized watching anything that goes down that road, because I just don't want to be tempted. And I say this because glory goes to God for taking this sin that leads to death, literally does, off of my shoulders. And he's seen that in me, and he knew at some point, he just stepped right in. I think 23 is when I really wanted to stop altogether, if I'm being completely honest. And it wasn't easy. Like, I don't care what anybody says about, oh, it's easy, just stop watching it, Like, when you have that on top of soul ties, is not good. It's all bad. And I don't care if anyone judges me because of this video. It's the truth. It's my testimony. And only the Lord above can judge me. And he delivered me from it. And so I think a lot of people, if the Lord has delivered you from something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be porn, it could be anything, speak up and say something about it, because people need to know, like, it's real. And all the glory goes to him, because I don't remember, he knew that I wanted to stop before I knew that I wanted to stop. Because at the time, people that I were around weren't good role models, and the friends that I thought that I had, they also weren't good role models. So it's not like I could come confide in them and say, hey, listen, I have this, help me with this, because they were all like, oh, it's normal, it's natural, you're human. No, that's like such a flesh thing to say. Living in the flesh can lead to death, and that's it. Which is why we're always supposed to pick up our cross and constantly deny ourselves of that. And so when we don't, it leads to death. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, he delivered me from that. And as again, no one knows about it. If my family come across this video, so be it. If anyone that I know come across this video, so be it. This is my truth. Am I proud about it? No, I'm not. But the fact that he not only did he know that I wanted to get off this burden off of me, but he already delivered me from it before I can even ask him. Because I remember one time earlier this year, I woke up, and if I'm being honest, I think people wake up, they watch it or whatever, but for me, I didn't. I didn't feel the need to watch it. I didn't feel the need to watch, even if celebrity kissed in a movie, I just turned the TV show off or the movie off, whatever, because I didn't necessarily want to especially the Lord deliver you something, you don't want to tempt yourself into something that's bad. So he just took it off of me, and I knew right there in that moment that he was delivering me from that. At the time, at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I was thinking a lot of things am I broken? What's going on? What's wrong with me? I'm like, oh, wait, nothing's wrong with you. He just took this sin that's going to lead to death off of your shoulders. And that's just one of the things that he delivered me from. So I go this to say this is, if you really want to, he'll deliver you from it. If you are trying to make your best efforts to do it, he'll help you. The Lord knows when you're officially done with things before you know what you're officially done with things, and only you would know what those things are, and he'll deliver you from them. And glory goes to him. It goes to him. I didn't really properly give the glory to him, because those are a lot of years to have that. I know some people say they probably had it for 2 years, 3 years, but I've had it for past those years. And very young, might I add, so it's it was very hard for me. So just be mindful who you're around. Be mindful of things that you're watching so you don't tempt yourself. Talk to him. Even if you just got, done doing what you had no business doing, talk to him. I think that's the time where you want you to talk to him most, is when you're in the midst of trying to do something you have no business doing, or after. It's always the enemy or your flesh telling you don't do it because he doesn't want to hear from you, but that's false. He does want to hear from you. And we need to normalize sharing our testimonies. And we need to normalize, especially in Black households, that when the Lord delivers you from something, to not bash one another and to judge them or to be a hypocrite and point the finger on, oh, I can't associate myself with you because you have this. Well, we know good and well the Lord is judging you, and you are not squeaky clean like you think that you are. So if you have a testimony, something like this, please share it with people. Get out your comfort zone. One thing about it, he don't care about your comfort zone. Okay? You might have a set schedule to do something, it ain't gonna happen because it's either not aligned with what he wants you to do, or it's just you're just gonna when you're living in Christ, the comfortable stages are gone. Like, you have to get out of your comfort zone. That's the only way that you're really going to get closer to him, by getting out of your comfort zone and sharing those scary or embarrassing moments of people who are dealing with the same thing you're dealing with, or not dealing with it anymore. And it was very hard for me. It was. I'm going to sit there and say that it wasn't, because it was. And, I didn't have any friends, right? And so my relationship with my parents were extremely rocky at those times, and still is, kind of. Still love them. But that was kind of like my escape, which is bad, but he delivered me from it. And in the process of him delivering me from it, he taught me a lot of things while he delivered me from it. And he taught me how to love myself. When he delivered me from it, he taught me how to wait, be patient. He taught me how to rest and lean on him. He taught me to always come to him, no matter any hour of the day. He taught me to, amongst a lot of other things. And I didn't get that growing up. So I go this to say that at the end of the day, no matter what addiction that you're fighting, talk to him about it. You're not the only one. It's sad that people pick and choose when they want to share certain testimonies, but people need to hear it. This is real life. It's all out in the open on TV shows, movies, and XYZ and families, but this is my truth. He delivered me from that. And I'm not ashamed of it. And if you were still dealing with this, or he delivered you from it, you shouldn't. That's just personally how I feel about it. So, yes, so 10 years old, introduced around like 6. Started at 10, and then up until 24. Have some near-death experiences. So, I'm delivered from it. I don't miss it. I know my wrong in it. I take full accountability. And I'm made new in his eyes. So it doesn't matter what anyone has to say, because I'm made new in his eyes. And I forgive myself. That was another thing. I also didn't forgive myself at the time, but I forgive myself. And he forgives me. So that's one heavy load that's off of me. So if you turn your life over to him, you will experience that as well. I'm not just saying it just to say it. It's literally the truth. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's how the Lord delivered me from it. Kind of helped, kind of short, sweet, kind of.